Okay students, class 11th mathematics CBSE. Today in this episode of video we will learn about the geometrical representation of a complex number and polar representation of a complex number. Okay, in geometrical representation of complex number we will learn about the argument of a complex number and the different arguments of a complex number in different quadrants. Also we will learn the different properties of the arguments. Okay, and in polar representation of a complex number we will learn how to represent a complex number in the form of magnitude and the amplitude. Okay, and also learn how to find the magnitude and amplitude in different quadrants. Okay, so let us start with the geometrical representation of a complex number. The main topic is the argument of a complex number. Okay, so complex number Z, the standard form of the complex number Z is the a plus iota b or x plus iota y, and this complex number can be represented as the ordered pair xy, where x is the real part of the complex number and y is the imaginary part of the complex number. Okay, so complex number Z is equals to xy can be represented as xy. Okay, and this point xy can be represented or plot in two-dimensional coordinate geometry. Okay, so let Z belongs to C. Z is any complex number such that Z is equals to x plus iota y. Z is equals to x plus iota y, and this can be write down as xy, that is ordered pair xy. X is the real part and y is the imaginary part. Okay, now this point xy can be represented geometrically as this is x axis, this is y axis, and that this distance is x and this distance is y, so the point P is representing the x y. Okay, as far as ordered pair is concerned, this plane is said to be the Cartesian plane. Okay, but as far as complex number is concerned, x is the real part and y is the imaginary part. That is why x axis is called as real axis, and y axis is called as imaginary axis. And this plane where we are representing the point xy or the complex number z equals to x plus iota y is called as organd plane or the organd diagram or the complex plane or the Gaussian plane. Okay, Gauss was the mathematician who explained this plane. Okay, Gaussian plane, also called as Gaussian plane. So P is the point, means P point is representing the complex number Z. Okay, joining the point P with the origin O. Okay, and draw the perpendicular from point P on the real axis, that is M. PM is the perpendicular on x axis. Okay, then PM is equals to y. Okay, so in this way we can represent a point P or the complex number Z in Cartesian plane or in complex plane, or geometrically we can represent this. Okay, this distance OP is equals to OM square plus MP square. Okay, means OP is equals to OM square means x square plus MP square means y square. Okay, so OP is the magnitude, OP is the length, OP is the distance, or OP is the magnitude of the complex number Z. So it is represented as Z is equals to OP square. This is OP square, so Z square equals to x square plus y square. So this is equals to modulus Z equals to under root x square plus y square. This is called as the magnitude of the complex number. Okay, now we are talking about the argument. The line OP. O is the origin and P is the complex number. Okay, P is the point representing the complex number. OP line making an angle theta. Making an angle theta with the positive direction of x-axis. And this angle theta is called as the argument or the amplitude. Okay, this theta is called as the argument or the amplitude of the complex number z. Okay, and is denoted as amplitude of z or argument of z. Okay, amplitude of z or argument of z is equals to theta. Theta is the line angle made by OP with positive x-axis. And this is equals to, how to find this? This is theta in terms of x and y. Y is the perpendicular and x is the base. So perpendicular upon base, that is y upon x is equals to tan theta. So theta is equals to tan inverse y upon x, or tan inverse y. Y is the imaginary part of z divided by the real part of z. Okay, so argument theta or amplitude theta is equals to tan inverse imaginary part divided by real part. Okay, so in this way we can find the argument or the amplitude of the complex number by representing the complex number geometrically. Okay, now this amplitude having infinitely many solutions, infinitely many values. Okay, after the interval of 2 pi in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, but there is a particular value, that is principal argument or principal amplitude, that lies between principal argument or principal amplitude lies between minus pi and plus pi. The principal argument theta always lies between, this is greater than minus pi and less than equals to pi. Okay, so the argument or the amplitude theta which lies between minus pi and plus pi is called as the principal argument or the principal amplitude. Okay, now argument is clear, all of you. Argument is the angle made by the line OP, where P is the complex number, made by the line OP with the positive direction of x-axis. Okay, so argument is clear to all of you. Now we will discuss some of the properties of the complex numbers. Okay, properties of the argument. Okay, so properties of argument. Okay, properties of arguments. Of a complex number. Okay, no needed of this diagram, so let us wipe out this. First of all, the first property of the argument of complex number is argument conjugate. Argument of Z conjugate is equals to minus argument of Z. Okay, argument of Z conjugate equals to minus argument of Z. Okay, second property is argument of Z1 Z2. Argument of Z1 Z2 equals to argument of Z1 plus argument of Z2. Okay, argument of Z1 Z2 is equals to argument of Z1 plus argument of Z2. Okay, third property is argument of Z1 Z2 conjugate is equals to argument of Z1 minus argument of Z2. Okay, and this property can be generalized. This property can be generalized as argument of Z1, Z2, Z3 and so on Zn is equals to argument of Z1 plus argument of Z2 plus and so on plus argument of Zn. Argument of Zn. Okay, and one more property is there of the argument, that is argument Z1 upon Z2. Argument Z1 upon Z2 means the argument of the division of two complex numbers, that is equals to argument of Z1 minus argument of Z2. Okay, so argument of the division of two complex number Z1 upon Z2 is the argument of Z1 minus argument of Z2. Okay, so these are some of the properties of the argument of a complex number. Okay, now we will discuss the different arguments in different quadrants. Different arguments in different quadrants. Okay, so let us have the topic different arguments in different arguments of the complex number in different quadrants. Okay, so the topic is arguments in different quadrants. Okay, different quadrants means we are having four quadrants. X, Y, X dash, Y dash. Okay, we know that the argument of Z, that is theta, is equals to tan inverse Y upon X. Okay, we know this, and this shows that the argument of Z depends on the real and imaginary part of complex number Z. Okay, depend on the imaginary and real part of X. Okay, so when the sign of X and Y changes, the argument is also changes. Okay, so in first quadrant, argument is simply write down as theta. That is equals to tan inverse Y upon X. But in second quadrant, argument is pi minus theta. Okay, in second quadrant. Okay, now in third quadrant, the argument is theta minus pi. Okay, and in fourth quadrant, argument is minus theta. Okay, so these are the different argument or amplitude in different complex numbers. Okay, means in different quadrants. In first quadrant it is simply theta, and in second quadrant it is pi minus theta, in third quadrant it is theta minus pi, and lastly in fourth quadrant it is minus theta. Okay, so now we will discuss after this we will discuss the polar or the trigonometrical representation. Now we are discussing the polar or the trigonometrical representation of a complex number. That is also an important topic. That is also an important topic in the study of complex algebra. Okay, complex numbers. So polar or trigonometrical representation. Polar or trigonometrical representation. This is all about polar or trigonometrical representation. Polar or trigonometrical representation of a complex number. Okay, so complex number z is equals to x plus iota y. Okay, that is equals to xy, and geometrically we have already represented this by the line OP xy. Okay, so this is x and this is y, and this angle is theta. That is argument or the amplitude. Okay, we have already learned this. Now this is x and this is modulus z. This is modulus z or modulus z. Okay, so cos theta is equals to cos theta. If we find cos theta is equals to base upon hypotenuse, that is x upon modulus z. Okay, and if this is equals to r, so this is equals to x upon r. So x is equals to r cos of theta in triangle OMP. This is M. Okay, so in triangle OMP cos theta is equals to x upon modulus z, that is x upon r. Okay, x upon r, that is x is equals to r cos theta. Now in the same triangle sin theta is equals to, and sin theta is equals to perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So perpendicular for this angle theta is y. So y upon hypotenuse, that is r. So y upon modulus z or y upon r. Okay, and from here we can find y is equals to r cos of theta. Y equal to r sin of theta. So this is x and this is y. This is x and this is y. Now put this x and y in equation number first or in complex number z. So complex number z equals to x plus iota y. X plus iota y means r cos theta plus iota r sin theta. Okay, so z is equals to, taking r as common, cos theta plus iota r sin theta, and cos theta plus, and this z equals to r into cos theta plus iota r sin theta is in the form of r and theta, that is modulus, and in the form of modulus and the amplitude theta. Okay, and complex number in the form of modulus and the amplitude theta, is called as the polar form or the trigonometrical form of the given complex number. Okay, so this is the polar or the trigonometrical form of the complex number. Now here in this, r equals to magnitude of z and theta. Finding theta from this equation and this equation, tan theta is equals to tan theta is equals to y upon r upon x upon r equals to y upon x. Okay, y upon x. So tan theta is equals to y upon x. Okay, and this theta is the amplitude or the magnitude of the complex number. Amplitude or the argument of the complex number. Okay, so we can find the polar or the trigonometrical representation of the complex number. Now, what should be the algorithm to find this amplitude? Okay, first of all we will find the when we are finding the amplitude. Okay, so first of all we will find the angle theta in first quadrant. Okay, after that finding the theta in first quadrant, we will see what are the sign of x and y, or where, in which quadrant cos theta and sin theta lies, or x and y lies, in which quadrant x and y lies. Similarly, we will find in the same way we will find the amplitude of theta. Okay, means first of all we will find the angle theta in first quadrant. After that we will decide where, in which quadrant x and y lies, and then we will decide the amplitude of complex number. Okay, in that quadrant. Okay, so this is the way, or this is the algorithm to find the polar representation or the trigonometrical representation. This is also called as trigonometrical representation of the complex number. Okay, now so far today we have discussed the geometrical representation, argument, and the properties of argument. Okay, and polar representation of the complex number, magnitude and the amplitude of the complex number. Now we will discuss about the square root of a complex number, means how to find the square root of a complex number. Okay, so write down the topic, that is square root of a complex number. This is the process of finding the square root of the complex number. So square root of a complex number. Square root of a complex number. Okay, let z equals to x plus iota y. Z is equals to x plus iota y, and we want to find the square root of this complex number, that is under root z. Root z equals to root x plus iota y, and let this is also a complex number a plus iota b. Let this square root of this x plus iota y, complex number x plus iota y, is a plus iota b. Okay, so squaring this we will have x plus iota y is equals to a plus iota b whole square. A plus iota b whole square. After expanding this using a plus b whole square identity, we will have a square plus iota 2ab plus iota b square, or x plus iota y is equals to a square minus b square plus iota 2ab. Okay, so comparing this on both the sides means real part comparing to complex numbers. Real part will be equal to real part, that is a square minus b square equals to x, and ab 2ab is equals to y. 2ab is equals to y. Okay, so a square minus b square equals to x and 2ab equals to y. Here in this real part of z is equals to x and imaginary part of z is equals to y. Okay. Now we have to solve this for a and b. Now we have to solve these two equations for a and b. We know that a square minus b square, a square plus b square whole square equals to a square minus b square whole square plus 4a square b square. Okay. A square plus b square whole square is equals to a square minus b square square plus 4. In quadratic equation we have learned that alpha plus beta square equals to alpha minus beta square plus 4 alpha beta. Okay. So using that identity here, a square plus b square whole square equals to a square minus b square square plus 4a square b square. So this is equals to a square minus b square square x square plus 4 means 2ab square, 2ab whole square, 2ab whole square means y square. Okay. So a square plus b square is equals to, this means a square plus b square equals to under root x square plus y square and under root x square plus y square equals to magnitude of z. So this is equals to magnitude of z. Okay. And a square minus b square equals to real part of z. Real part of z. Okay. So solving this and this. Solving equation number second and third. Solving equation number second and third. Here we are learning, here we are having the method of finding the square root of a complex number. Okay. So now we have to solve equation number second and equation number third. So let us wipe out all these. Only having the equation number second and equation number third. Okay. So equation number second is a square minus b square equals to real part of z and a square plus b square equals to magnitude of z. Magnitude of z. So adding these two, we are having 2a square is equals to real part of z plus magnitude of z. So a square is equals to half of real part of z plus magnitude of z. So a equals to plus minus under root half of real part of z plus magnitude of z. This is a equals to, and subtracting this from this, we are having 2b square is equals to more magnitude of z minus real part of z. Magnitude of z minus real part of z. Okay. So b square is equals to half of minus real part of z plus magnitude of z. Okay. So b is equals to plus minus under root half of minus real part of z plus magnitude of z. Okay. So this is b. This is a and this is b. Okay. So we have find the a and b. Now the square root of complex number. Square root of complex number. Complex number, that is z. That is under root z is equals to a plus iota b. Okay. In equation first, the square root of z is equals to a plus iota b. So a is this and b is this. So putting a and b plus minus under root half of real part of z plus magnitude of z plus iota plus minus iota under root half of minus real part of z plus magnitude this is the square root of a complex number. Okay, now this is a plus iota b, that is why here we are having the sign a plus iota b. If we are having a minus iota b, means if we are finding the square root of a minus iota b, then this is equals to plus minus square root of half of real part of z plus magnitude z. Okay, plus, now this is minus, so minus iota under root plus minus under root half of minus real part of z plus magnitude of z. Okay, only when we are finding the square root of x plus iota y, we will have plus sign here. If we are finding the square root of x minus iota y, we will have minus sign here. Okay, so in this way we can find the square root of the given complex number. Okay,